The topic I'm going to speak on this evening is one which I have not done in the past. For the past 2.5, nearly 3 decades, most of my public speaking as well as my writing has been devoted to a fairly uncomplicated presentation, namely whatever topic happens to be in the news or the broader issue. My modus operandi, if you can use that expression, has been simply to compare the documentary record, the scholarly record on the one side, with how the same events or the same history is depicted in the mainstream media or in the public forum on the other side. And then it's fairly easy to demonstrate that a huge chasm separates what the record shows as compared to how it's typically depicted. But I have decided this year that I think we have to readjust our focus, because there is now a historic opportunity to maybe, possibly, to put the conflict behind us, to remove it from the pages of current events where it's been for decade upon decade, and to finally put it where it belongs, namely in the pages of a history book. There is a possibility, I think. Of course, there's a difference between saying a possibility and a probability, and then there's a difference between saying a probability and a certainty. And I have to be cautious with my words, because rumor has it that some people actually attach significance to what I say. So I don't want to exaggerate, but I do think, for many reasons, some of which I'll discuss presently, an opportunity exists. And now our task has to be, I think, to sort of reorient ourselves and to fix our minds, to invest our energies into trying to end the conflict.
Yes, I guess the first question is how we're going to get there. And just as the tactics that were used to dismantle apartheid in South Africa were primarily economic, I'm wondering if you could explicate a little bit about what you see as those forces of nonviolent forces of coercion that will bring Israel to a settlement.
Well, so far, and our experience is relatively limited, I think, there hasn't been an organized mass movement or even a sophisticated movement that's been trying to reach a public. Too much in the past has been sloganeering, and sloganeering of a very infantile sort, of which I'm as guilty as anyone else. I remember in the 1980s, when I first got involved, we used to walk down the streets of New York warily, chanting slogans like, "Everybody should know I support the PLO." Well, it rhymed, but it was not going to reach a broad public in New York. Actually, the challenge was not to get killed between the beginning and the end of the demonstration. It was a kind of death wish slogan. There have been basically in recent times 3 kinds of tactics that have been attempted. One you can call trying to use the law, and the apogee, the peak of that tactic came after the Goldstone report, the report which indicted Israel or alleged that Israel had committed significant war crimes and crimes against humanity during its attack on Gaza in 2008 and 9. And the basic form it took was using the provision in international law, which is called universal jurisdiction. Namely, there are certain crimes which, if committed, any national government can prosecute them, even if they weren't committed by a national of that country. And so Israel had a very hard time, and they were very worried, because none of their representatives, none of their, so to speak, ambassadors, were able to travel anywhere, because all of them were de facto war criminals. And